All right, so am I sharing screen? Am I good on the okay, cool. All right, so we will be taking questions. We want this to be a more of a conversation-y type demo here. I won't be able to see the comments because they are going to be on this other tab here. So if you have a question, Roland will ping me, but feel free to ask questions here. So what we're going to be demoing today is how to use a Chainlink Oracle on the Agoric chain. So we're going to be doing a couple things here. We're going to be accomplishing a couple things. We're going to be spinning up, spinning up our local Agoric chain, attaching a Chainlink node to it, and then we will be sending a query, sending a query from the Agoric chain to our Chainlink Oracle, and having that actually return the result back on chain. So everything that we're going to be doing and everything that you need to know is in this repo. So actually, let me drop this in the chat. Watch out for the recursiveness for a second here, or private chat, I guess. But yeah, this will have everything here. And the great part of this repo is that everything that you need to know is in the README, and you can literally follow along step by step. And those are the READMEs that I love. So for those of you who are a little bit unfamiliar with Chainlink and how kind of Chainlink works, so Chainlink is a blockchain agnostic oracle, which allows people to bring data on chain. And in particular, it also allows for decentralized data, because you can have a network of independent Chainlink oracles come together, provide reliable data on chain so that your smart contracts can stay trustless, which is really, really important. And then if you didn't see my presentation yesterday, go take a look at it. It has some really, really good information. And this is what a lot of the top DeFi projects are using right now. Aave, Synthetic, Yearn, they're all using Chainlink to get price feed data, because Chainlink is so reliable, so secure, and decentralized, and it's really easy to work with too. So the way that Chainlink works, and again, if you haven't watched any of the video yesterday, definitely go check it out. But the way Chainlink works is these off-chain oracles are going to be reading the chain, looking for requests. Reading the logs of the chain, looking for requests. Once it finds one, it grabs the request, does whatever the request tells it to do, and then it returns the data on chain. The way that it does this, and the way that Chainlink works with any chain, is you just need these three pieces to customize your Chainlink node to work with any additional chain. You need an external initiator, which tells the Chainlink node, when to kick off, and it also defines how to monitor the chain and what to look for when reading the chain. You have an external adapter, which can do a number of stuff, including getting customized data. But for customized chains in particular, it can also define sending results back to the chain. So the external adapter for this one, for this demo, shows how to write back to the Agoric chain. The external initiator here shows how to read from the Agoric chain. You also need the link token, which secures the Oracle network. We're going to be testing, doing it for free. Obviously, in a production system, you don't want to do that, because then you have no economic incentive for nodes to stay honest. Anyways, so here's the repo. It's established a generic way to interact with oracles such as Chainlink. Here are the basic pieces, and we're going to be going to this Chainlink Agoric subdirectory to get started with the Chainlink nodes here. And we're literally going to follow it step by step. So prerequisites, you're going to want to install these: Docker, JQ, Yarn, Node.js. Each of these links go to a site to actually install them. Then you're going to want to set up the Agoric command in your shell. So if you haven't, let me zoom in here. Actually, is that going to ruin my zoom for everything? Oh, no, it's not. If you haven't gone through this, take a minute to go through it, and then let me. It's just a couple of. Excuse me. You're going to be downloading this Agoric SDK here. I'm not going to be going through it exactly. I'm just going to kind of show you what it's going to look like. Go through this Agoric SDK. Clone this Agoric SDK. yarn install, yarn build, and then you want to link it to install the CLI. So I ran this yarn link CLI, user local bin Agoric, and now in my user local bin, now my user local bin, I have this Agoric command. So now I can run. I'm not going to run it, but I can run now I can run the Agoric CLI. So this is the first page that you have to do to do anything with Agoric. You don't have to go to this starting a project page. If you want to, if you want to run through this starting a project, you absolutely can. But we're gonna do some special stuff and basically to run our local chain that isn't in here. So. Cool. So once we get all this set up, we can keep going. Chainlink components, blah, blah, blah. Great. So now we want to start our local chain. So we have our Agoric SDK installed. Now we actually want to start it up. Can I minimize this? Let's maximize this. Yeah, and let's minimize this. Although you can see my stuff in the background, whatever. Sorry. So we're gonna be in this excuse me. We're gonna go to this DApp Oracle repo. We're gonna run Agoric install, and this will install all the dependencies that are listed in this repo. It's great, done installing, and then we're gonna run. Run this command. So this is actually going to start the local chain implementation. We're going to run it in the background and output. For those of you who are a little bit unfamiliar with the commands here, we're going to output it to chain.log. So this is actually going to set up a job in the background. So if we go to jobs, we can see it right here. And what this is doing is it's actually setting up our local chain, and it's going to do that in a Docker container. So now we can see Docker PS. We can see here's our local chain running, and we can even tail. We can even tail the log here, and we're seeing all the logging of this Docker image, which is running our local chain. So we're just going to wait for everything to kind of finish getting spun up. And once it gets finished spinning up, we can actually continue on. But another way we can look at this, it looks like it might actually be done. So we can do Docker. We can do it through Docker. We can do Docker logs. And then the container ID, and then we can see, here's the logs. And once you start seeing, executed block, committed state, that's how we know that the chain is actually running. So Docker logs and Docker tail chain.log are both ways we can actually, wait to see that it's done. So cool. So once it's done, we just move to the next step. So now we're going to set up a Chainlink node, an external adapter, and an external initiator. So this is the Chainlink node, which is going to be the off-chain service that is going to be doing this pushing and pulling. We also have to set up an external adapter and external initiator. So these are services as well. These are APIs basically that are going to be defining how to read and write to and from the Agoric chain. So we have everything set up in this wonderful .setup script. So we're just going to go to the Chainlink Agoric bit here. If you want to look at what the setup script is doing, you absolutely can. But basically, it's going to set up those Docker containers for us, being namely the Chainlink node, external initiator, and external adapter. You can, if you want to do all this stuff manually, and then it's going to pull the Docker images. Some of them I already have. I'll show you in a second how to look at those. But if you don't want to use the setup script and you want to run through this whole thing manually, just so you can learn exactly how to set up external initiators, maybe you want to do something a little bit more intricate, you can check out the Conflux Chainlink integration video that we did recently. That has a different setup than this. This one's kind of a little bit nicer because you have ./setup and you just run through everything. But that one's more granular, and you can see behind the scenes exactly what's happening, exactly what this setup script is doing. So great, so cool. So we have, so we're setting up. We also have to set up a Postgres node, Chainlink, and it's doing it so fast I can't even talk about what it's doing. So it's setting, it's creating these Docker images, and it's we're adding like a solo instance of the chain, a Postgres database for our Chainlink node, the Chainlink node itself, and the Chainlink adapter here. And I'm looking for the external adapter, and maybe that's defined later or something. I forget actually, but we're setting up these. And actually, if we create a new tab, we can do Docker PS. We can see kind of all the new containers we have. We have our Chainlink adapter. We have our Chainlink node. We have this swing set solo. I believe this is the Agoric, like a solo implementation. This is our Postgres database, and then this is the Agoric SDK chain. Anyway, so we have all these up, and we can see if everything's working correctly by just like quickly looking in the logs of like our Chainlink. And great, we can see that, you know, it's spinning up the UI here. It looks like it logged in fine, which is great. Cool. So because of that, at this point we can actually log in to the UI. So, and it's running on here, or this place is ready. So we should be able to log into the UI, and the password is not real. I forget what the username and password is. I'm skipping around a little bit, but if you want to follow the README exactly, you can. Not real. Not real at fakeemail.ch, and the password is 2 chains. So cool. So we're logged in. We're gonna go back. We're gonna stay in order of the README though. Yeah, setting it up is going to take a couple more minutes here. We're actually deploying. We're deploying some smart contracts, some Agoric smart contracts, which is really cool. Also defined in the setup script so that we can work with our Chainlink node. So we're deploying some of these Oracle contracts already. And while it's deploying, just a couple of other tidbits. If you're running an Agoric chain externally, you can run something like this. Again, we're running a local Agoric chain, so we don't have to run this. And we're actually only running one Chainlink node. If you want to test multiple Chainlink nodes, this actually is going to give us an output in a second saying, hey, do you want to do 2 and 3? We're just going to work with one. Yeah, if you want to test the decentrality and sending to different Chainlink nodes, you can absolutely spin up as many as you want. And we encourage you to do so once you've gotten down working with one. But working with one is perfect enough at the beginning. But once it's done, it's going to spit out some information for us that we're going to need. So we're just going to give it a hot minute to finish setting up, and it looks like it's creating the external Oracle contract on our Chainlink node number 1. Hopefully everybody can see this. And actually, we do have a hot minute here, so I'm going to flip this. Oh, no comments yet. Okay, cool. You got to see a little bit of that recursiveness. Great. I love seeing success in all caps on on logs. So the contract is up. Great. We've got our board. So board IDs in Agoric are kind of like addresses in Ethereum. Now we're adding our external initiator, and we're running our external initiators. Would we like to start Oracles 2 and 3? No. Okay, great. Now everything is set up, and we're going to need these keywords, these passwords, these variables, basically, in a minute. But if you forget them, you can run this node show jobs.js, and it'll just pop them back up for you. So, so cool. So awesome. So everything should be set up with this wonderful /setup script. That's really nice. So again, now we can sign into the node. we are already signed in here. We have a good chunk of nothing, which is great because we have a blank Postgres database. And excuse me. Oh yeah, and if you want to start and stop them, I'm even going to do that right now. We can do Docker compose down. This is actually going to close everything. It just takes a minute for it to close. And you're to do this Docker compose down, you have to be in the correct directory here. And if we refresh, it's going to kick us out. And then we just run Docker compose up. Once we already have everything set up, and it should just allow us to get back in here. Oh wait, yeah, it's running everything in the foreground. Sorry. I just canceled it out. Docker up. Oh wait, it's still gonna start all of our stuff. Okay. You know what? We're just gonna do it in a new tab. Yes. Chainlink adapter, Chainlink adapter. And we should be able to log back in now. Great, we're able to log back in. Cool. I'm just gonna let that run in the on the other tab here. We're just gonna let that run there. Cool. So we're gonna do show node show jobs.js again, and then we have all our board ID stuff here. Great. Now we want to start up the UI. So this is actually going to be the Agoric UI. The Chainlink UI is already up, as we can see, and it's working perfectly. So we're just going to run this. It's going to, it's going to yarn start. We're going to go down a directory, and yeah, we're going to build it, and then we're going to go here and see our UI. So it's a really simple UI, and then actually I think I have to change it. Yeah, I'm going to change this in a second. It's a really simple UI, but it's going to give us all the pieces that we need to actually start running Agoric Chainlink API calls. So we do have to add a couple of pieces to this URL. Like we said, we got this. We got these variables from our show job node, show jobs.js, and we actually have to add these to our. We have to add these to our Agoric UI here. So your UI is actually going to be localhost 3000 question mark API URL equals backend API URL. So we got it as this, I believe. Am I doing that right? Oh, yeah. I think I'm not doing that right. Here. Yeah, localhost 3000 API URL equals the backend API. Even though I know that that's the same thing. Am I typing it right? API URL equals backend API. I think I might have messed something up with the Docker compose. Let's actually just kill it real quick. Sorry, guys. It's running all three. Sorry, I might have messed something up with the Docker compose there. Whoops. Docker compose -v. we're just going to do the setup again. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, I think I messed something up with the Docker compose, but yeah, it'll kick us out now. Or maybe it's already up. Yeah, it's already up. So anyways, basically what we're going to happen then is we're going to log onto the UI, and then we're going to call an API and make an API call, and then we'll be able to see it on our Chainlink Oracle here. And then let's sign back in, 2 chains. Great. And for those of you who are a little bit unfamiliar with the Chainlink UI, Wallace is setting up, what we're going to see here is every job run that comes through, it's going to be in this run tab, and all the jobs that we define are going to be in here. So fill the job. Chainlink Oracle. Yeah, all the jobs we define are going to be in here. And let's just wait for this to finish. Oh, wow, it's done now. Okay, cool. So the reason it wasn't working is reason I knew it wasn't working is because we couldn't see this Query Oracle button. But it looks like it's all done. Nice. But we're still deploying. We're still deploying the Oracle contract, so we're still going to give it a second. But yeah, once everything's deployed, we'll be able to pull our Chainlink node. So we're just going to or make API calls to our Chainlink node, so we can just kind of hang out for a little bit while this redeploys. It looks like stuff is working correctly. Yeah, let me look at no questions. Yeah, if you guys have questions, feel free to pop in. I know we have this gross recursive window at the moment.
We did have one question come in through a separate channel.
Yeah, sure.
And I know you may have spoken about this a little bit in a previous presentation, but do you have ideas around what good uses of oracles people could make as part of the hackathon, and what are your thoughts there?
Yeah, I mean, so an easy answer is to just look at DeFi Pulse. I mean, DeFi Pulse, Agoric is a chain, especially that's specifically powered for DeFi, which is great. A number of these top projects are using Chainlink oracles to do pretty much everything. Aave, in order to get pricing data, it's using Chainlink price feeds. Synthetics, same thing, using Chainlink price feeds. Yearn Finance, Chainlink price feeds. I don't want to say anybody who's not using a set protocol. Same with Chainlink price feeds. I believe Bancor is, Loopring is, BZX. I mean, getting pricing data is kind of one of the easiest kind of like low entry, let's get pricing data, but you can build really, really powerful applications with it. Other than that, I mean, you can kind of do whatever you want. Chainlink oracles allow you to do any type of API call, get any data, read any chain, read any external source, really do whatever you want. So that being said, the sky's really the limit with what you want to do. We have a blog out called 44 blog ideas Chainlink. Hey, Brave Game Money. 44 ways to enhance your smart contract with Chainlink, and it's literally just a list of ideas for hackathons. So if you haven't checked it out, be sure to check it out. It'll give you some really good ideas here. So, anyways, let's go back here. All right, back here. Looks like we're just about done setting up. Once it finishes setting up, we'll run through that show jobs. It's adding our external initiator. It's adding our job spec. No. So, okay, cool. So now, if we go to our dashboard, we go to our jobs, there should be one in here. Perfect. There is. And you can kind of use this format to define the rest of your jobs. But again, it's a combination of initiators and tasks. So we have our external initiator, which is we've named test EI, but this is the initiator that's reading from the Agoric chain that we've set up. But then it's going to make an HTTP GET call, JSON parse, which chooses the correct key that you want. multiply it, and this Agoric adapter or task is actually going to post your data back on chain. So again, we can just follow right with the README. So we're here. Great. We're at the right place. And we're going to submit our query now. So we can submit our query by, again, grabbing that node show jobs.js. And our board ID is going to be this. Take that. We're going to pop it in our board here. Oops. This is going to help us choose the Chainlink Oracle that we just spun up. And now this is an example of the syntax they're going to use building your Agoric smart contract to make the API call. You can see the parameters here. We're going to change the job ID to this job ID. And it should be the same job ID of this one. And in fact, it is. So basically we're saying, hey, we want to grab the Oracle from this board that has this job ID. And here are the parameters that we're going to give it. So if we query Oracle, we should see in our runs a new run, and it actually completed super fast. So we didn't even get a chance to kind of like look at what it was doing. But it has all the JSON of what went through. And basically what happened was it picked up our job. It picked up our job here with the external initiator. It made this API call that we defined here. And then we don't have enough time to kind of make other fun ones, but it made this API call, and it parsed the JSON down just to this value here, this last value, multiplied it to get rid of all the decimals, and then it posted it back to the Agoric chain. And we can see the results of the query over here. And that's really it. That's the most basic use case. We can do, we can do more fun things. Let's, because we have like 2 minutes left here. Let me just, if you want to just kind of play with it and see some of the other stuff you can do. Let's do duplicate here. HTTP get, JSON parse. We could do.
Patrick, by the way, if you need to run long to do a couple extra commands, we checked internally. That's totally fine.
Okay. Yeah. Let's do something a little bit creative here. Let's do a. Oh, I don't have that parameter enabled here. Let's do. Yeah, maybe we won't do something that creative. But what we can do, we can even like grab some of these parameters and put it in here. So we're going to do parameters are going to be times. And we'll do, we're going to make it a massive number. I hope that this doesn't like break Agoric. Body must be defined. Oh, that's right. You have to define the body. Okay, so we're not going to do something creative here. This parameter actually has a body parameter that's in the database that you have to define with it. It doesn't show up in the UI when you duplicate it though. So maybe we won't do something creative here, but you can look at that job spec. Actually, let's find out where to get that job spec. You can look at that job spec in one of these internal setup scripts. Where does it add the job spec? Add job spec. Aha. Here we go. Here's that body endpoint. So we would just have to add this to make our new job. Oh yeah, we could actually add it. Just copy this whole thing and plop it in. But then you can add more interesting things here. You can add parameters to HTTP get, JSON parse, multiply, whatever you want. Just make sure you add this body section in here. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. That's yeah. And then now that you have a way to interact with APIs, you can do whatever you want. A lot of people, what they do is sometimes they make their own APIs to do custom things. And your smart contract is now connected to literally anything, excuse me, literally anything that you want. So I'm going to stop sharing screen here. It looks like there are no questions, but we're in the Discord, actively monitoring the Discord. Excited to see what you guys build here. Now that we've walked through this demo, you now know that you can pull these APIs in. You can do whatever you want with your Agoric smart contract. Really excited to see what everyone builds here, and we'll talk to you soon. Roland, do you want me to close out, or you're?
All right. Yeah. No. Thanks
right,
a bunch,
cool.
Patrick. This is a great presentation, and for those of you that are going to watch asynchronously, as Patrick mentioned, we are in the Discord this week, next week, so we'll be answering questions. So excited to have everybody get set up. And Patrick, thank you again for coming out to support us here.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
All right. See ya.
Bye, guys.